Riga, one of the most beautiful metropolises on the Baltic Sea, never fails to mesmerize new visitors with its wealth of stunning buildings. The most recognizable architectural style in Riga is Art Nouveau. Half a dozen or more Art Nouveau buildings are visible from almost every street corner in the city. There's no other place like it. It was precisely Riga's Art Nouveau buildings that in 1997 helped make Riga's historic center a UNESCO World Heritage Site. A diagram of the Art Nouveau buildings in any other city looks empty when compared with Riga's urban plan. Art Nouveau was a style that flourished in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, though it began its victory march only after 1900. The first Art Nouveau building in Riga was built in 1899 at Audeilu 7. The facades and interiors of Art Nouveau buildings were often decorated with stylish and original designs, plant motifs, undulating curved lines, and laughing or shouting masks, forms meant to reflect the tense spirit of the age. Another favorite was the symbol of beauty, a woman's figure. Legend has it that a beauty contest took place once between the stone women on the facades of Riga's buildings. The lady at Smilš 2 was proclaimed Miss Riga. But the essence of Art Nouveau does not lie in these forms, which aren't always present. The style featured a new creative method, which was the granting of artistic expressivity to practical objects. This was initially understood as merely a replacement of the architectural decorative forms rooted in traditional historical styles with modern designs. When Art Nouveau had already succeeded in provoking both wonder and scathing criticism, the civil engineer Mikhail Eisenstein set off a virtuoso fireworks display of decorative forms. The facades of his many buildings literally swirl with snarls and tangles of fashionable ornamental motifs. Art Nouveau's rationality, that is, its reasonable and practical nature, may be clearly discerned in the earliest buildings built in this style. A fine example of this rationality is the building at Brīvības iela 55. From a distance, the structure looks fairly simple, but up close, one may marvel at its diverse collection of sculptural forms. The Art Nouveau era was an unprecedented period of flourishing in Riga's history. Hundreds of new multi-story masonry buildings were built during the period, each of which was a true work of art. Around 1906, vertical divisions became more apparent in the artistic composition of Art Nouveau facades. This soon became one of the most characteristic trends in Riga's Art Nouveau architecture. This style is called perpendicular Art Nouveau. Architect Jānis Alksnis's works stand out in Riga's wealth of perpendicular Art Nouveau buildings. He created one of the first structures of this style, the building at Lāčplēša iela 18. Most of his buildings, which number more than 130 in Riga, are hallmarks of architectural art. There is something aesthetically similar about them, though you won't find any two that look alike. One of Alksnis's greatest buildings is the majestic Ozoliņš building at Brīvības iela 88, which was based on an idea by Konstantīns Pēkšēns and Ernests Pole that won first prize in an architectural competition. They gave the building a skeleton, but Jānis Alksnis created its soul. Konstantīns Pēkšēns was the most productive and versatile architect in Latvian history. In Riga alone, more than 200 multi-story masonry buildings were based on his plans, including many works of perpendicular Art Nouveau. Architect Jūgendstils is also known for his works of perpendicular Art Nouveau. The buildings at Brīvības iela 33 and 85 are particularly expressive of this style. One of the most unique and striking artistic trends in Riga's Art Nouveau architecture was National Romanticism. This was an attempt on the part of Latvian architects to create a national architecture by employing the vernacular art of construction, using stylized ethnographic patterns, and, according to architect Jūgendstils, by listening to the voices that express our Latvian feelings and whisper to us the spirit of the age. The first National Romanticism buildings were the Ķēniņskola on Tērbatas iela and the Kļaviņa building on Čaka iela, designed by Konstantīns Pēkšēns and Jūgendstils. Laube was the main promoter of the ideas of National Romanticism. Several of his buildings are symbols of this style. National Romanticism also had an important place in the works of Konstantīns Pēkšēns, the most prominent architect in early 20th century Riga. There is an entire block of Valdemāra iela composed exclusively of National Romanticism buildings, the majority of which were designed by architect Aleksandrs Vanaks. Each of the buildings features the style's characteristic heaviness of expression, energetic massing, and steep roofs. The structures exude practicality and a primordial vigor that is hard to put into words. This formal language is present in almost all of Vanaks' buildings. Vanaks also led construction work on the building at Alunāna iela 2A, which was designed by Helsinki architects Knut Vasastjärne and Gustav Adolf Lindberg. Almost all of the architects active during Riga's Art Nouveau period were of local origin, and the majority were graduates of the Riga Polytechnic Institute. Only a few of the buildings in Riga were built by foreign architects. The Vaļņu iela parish house of St. Peter's Church, designed by the world-famous Flemish architect Henry van de Velde, was destroyed after World War II. The site is now home to a wing of Hotel Riga. One of Riga's trademarks is its wooden buildings. Art Nouveau was embodied in wooden architecture slowly and reluctantly. Wooden buildings with facades more in tune with the spirit of the age appeared only after 1908-1909. Many wooden or half-timber Art Nouveau buildings may be found in Mežaparks, Europe's first garden city. Art Nouveau's artistic method marked the beginning of contemporary architecture. Several buildings anticipated the next historical style, functionalism, or the modern movement. They are often difficult to distinguish visually from the modern structures of the 1920s and 30s. Art Nouveau, once disparaged and disdained, is now admired and respected. The style is a great source of Latvian national pride. Riga is a true metropolis of Art Nouveau architecture. There's simply no other city like it.